All right, Kevin, what's up?
What's up, my robot guy? Look at us!
Yes. How's it going, man?
Stupid! Come
Right.
on!
Oh, dude. I'm in New York right now.
Yeah, you don't
We
have your usual background, I can see.
yes. There was a live Know-It-Alls on Wednesday, and
Oh, no
so
way.
yeah, we were able to get together and watch the finale. In like a little rented out space. And the entire room just like exploded when Josh evicted Betty. Nobody was expecting that.
I was expecting it.
How so? Okay, I just talked to Josh. He told me that when they evicted Helena, the intention was not to bring you to the final two. So this was very much a John and Netta situation. We do not know how did this happen. What did you do?
So you've seen me like pitching the I'm the losing finalist to Josh for basically half the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it was after he won HOH part two. I like jumped into his arms and celebrated and said, "We did it. Like, I'm so excited to lose to you. I really don't want to lose to Betty." Just pitching that, like, either way, I'm losing no matter what. And because me and Josh like to play out the scenarios, we'd count the jury votes. And it just seemed like at least Herman, Moose Summer were voting for Josh in any scenario, and they would forgive him. And then maybe Summer would go for me. And I guess I convinced him that that was the case, and I actually believed that he would beat me. I was pretty sure he would beat me at that.
I mean, it like you definitely seemed like you were in disbelief. Even just like walking out, Arissa's talking to you, and like you are in as much disbelief as me because like we were very convinced that like when you lost that HOH that it was over.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the story of your game. I mean, every single week it felt like the week would start out kind of bad, and then over the course of the week you'd get it on track, and then like
Yeah.
then it would go bad again by the next week. I mean, what a roller coaster. Are you doing okay?
I'm doing great. I had fun. Like, I wouldn't want it to be easy. It was incredibly like, even the week when Marty won after the Expedia incident in the double, he you couldn't speak to him. He was just going after there was no conversation to be had, and then somehow through magic, I won the veto, and then Herman went up. Like, that's the
Literally, he's in the HOH room talking to the cameras saying there's zero chance I'm not taking Betty out this week. Never. I will never put Herman up. This week is all about revenge. And then, oh man.
I
I
don't
wish I had
know.
my soundboard because I really got a lot of use out of your week one. I'm a bad boy, and you were a bad boy, Kevin.
I'm excited, and we'll have our time to go through things.
Yes. Your friends who live under Chantel crashed the podcast last night.
What?
Chantel from the podcast, they live under her. They said that you lived there.
Oh, they're in New York.
No, no, no. She went back to Toronto, and she was doing the podcast last night to recap, and they were celebrating.
She lived above me.
You didn't know this either. So they knew you didn't know.
I knew that Chantel lived above. That is a Oh my god, that is a wild. Oh, I need a lot of clarification.
We'll
We're on a
talk.
time limit. That is a weird one, Taran.
It was weird. I was weirded out.
Did she know that was me?
No, she didn't know. They waited all season until you won to show up at her door and be like, "Hey, we live right below you." Kevin lived here for 2 years.
She was a great apartment mate. It's like a fourplex, a quadruplex. She lived on the top floor.
Oh man. All right.
Life.
What's that?
What we want to keep this professional? Where do we want to go? Wherever you want. You guide the ship, Darren.
Okay. So, I mean, the main question was like, again, like, so Josh said another thing that you said to him was that you told him that if Betty knew about the crash test dummies, that would be your jury question. I assumed that in a spot where it was like Betty and Josh in part three, or if that you thought that Betty had any chance of winning, that you might expose the crash test dummies to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been the plan, but then you were in part three with him, so no point in exposing it.
Yeah, I got close to it, and Helena told me before she left, like, you need to tell Betty, but there's such a short time between part three. She said if Betty wins part three, you need to tell her right
Yeah.
then. There's such a short time between part three and the decision. I think I would have done it like minutes before sitting down for the finale.
It's so so you thought you really didn't think you had the vote. So when you lost that, were you thinking I need to win this final HOH in order to get a chance to get the votes?
Yeah, I thought I needed to win and cut Josh. Thankfully, that was a terrible read.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. It was one of many reasons to be like, there's no way Kevin will be able to take this home because, first you had to, get into a position in the game where you were actually going to get to the end, and then you had to be able to get the jury to see what you were doing. But your goodbye messages were very good. Obviously, that was a huge part of the plan here.
Josh Martinez, baby, thank you very much.
You Josh Martinez did. You Kevin Martin did in Paris did in the final speech. Was that very much the intention as well?
I didn't feel great about how I answered the questions. It felt very yelly. So I figured when I had the minute to speak, I would just be like super authentic, talk about, how this is a dream, and try to send individual messages to each person to try and swing a vote or two there.
So I think you've probably been told this already, but first winner since Dr. Will to not win an HOH. Uh, you've also finally broken the like I can no longer use this stat, Kevin. I use this all the time, that the person who survives the week one eviction on the block has never gone on to win the game.
How about
Um,
that?
so now it's gonna have to be, well, the person who survives the week one eviction has never won, except for Kevin. Kevin managed to do
Yeah.
it, but nobody else is going to be able to. I mean, what is life? How are you? Are you just like existing on a cloud right now?
It's amazing. I'm living the dream. Today it's a lot more real. I was just so confused. I was sure when I knew Josh was going to take me. As soon as Josh won, I was like, okay, I'm the losing finalist. I can live with this. And then to get the win and wake up today and be doing this, it's completely surreal. I'm on the cloud. I'm dancing on the cloud you speak of.
Yes. So it felt like the biggest struggle ultimately of the game seemed to be this Jace and Josh decision that on first glance seemed like you made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
However, given the outcome here, maybe not. The jury did seem very sad when Jace left. It seemed like they were pretty high. Have you talked to the jury? Do you know like what their thoughts were in terms of like if Jace had gotten
Yeah.
there, or if you had been against Betty, anything like that?
Yeah. So if I'm against Betty at the end, I win. If Jace is against anyone at the end, Jace wins. Um, I thought Josh or Jace at the time would beat anyone at the end. The reason why I was on team keep Jace for a while was because I was more concerned about Josh winning HOH veto HOH, which he ended up
Yep.
doing. Um, but I mean, it seemed like it was the right decision. I I think I've run the scenarios. I think I probably win HOH at Final Four. Helena wins the veto. Betty goes home, or yeah, Betty goes home. We take Jace. Jace wins part one. Me or Helena win part two. Me or Helena win part three and take the other to the final. I think it's probably me and Helena at the end. Helena hasn't touched the block. I think Helena might win the game in that scenario.
Have you talked to the jury about Helena? Because it didn't seem like they were super high on her.
No, no, I haven't. I haven't. But
Yeah.
what do they not see? She didn't touch the block until the final four. Like,
You
what do you?
you didn't see her goodbye messages. Her goodbye message to Jace was not great.
That was my fault. That was partially my fault because I
Was
was
it?
playing the like because I thought if we were sitting together, I kept being like, yeah, I bash everybody in my goodbye messages. Like you, like they don't matter. Like so, and I was talking to Helena about that last night, and she was asking me about that. Like, why your messages were so nice? I was like, yeah, I was like, I was sitting beside you at the final tip.
Oh boy. All right. Well, look, we only had 10 minutes here, but it was great catching up with you. I'm sure we will be talking very soon. Got to do a
Yeah,
deep dive. Um, Congratulations, man. This was it was the season 10 prophecy. This was easily the best season of Big Brother Canada, one of the best
yeah,
easily of all time. You are a huge part of that. And really, like, so many people, even the people that were like not Kevin fans, literally in the room I was sitting in, there were people that were like rooting for Josh. There were people that were rooting for
yeah.
Betty. By the end of the night, everyone was like, "Got to give it up to Kevin, man. That was ridiculous." You have a lot of supporters, and you have a huge legacy now. So um, we'll,
Okay.
we'll, we'll,
Thank you.
we'll talk soon.
No, thanks for all you do. I appreciate it a lot, and yeah, we'll chat again soon.
All right, thank you so much, Kev.